It's safe to say that we can't blindly trust the opinions of influencers, commentators, and even journalists. Everyone has an opinion and they're constantly flip flopping. Now, I'm not advising against listening to any of them. In fact, I would recommend you listen to a spread of them, even the ones who perhaps you don't naturally align with. But it's safe to say most have a stance, perhaps a secret stance, or a political agenda. The most important thing for our media literacy and for our critical thinking is for us to challenge our assumptions and intentionally challenge the assumptions of others. It's so easy to get sucked into a narrative or an argument. And the byproduct of doing so is number one, you'll generate blind spots for yourself. Two, you'll be wrong. Three, you'll be influencing incorrectly. We have to find a way to filter information before we form an opinion. And we can't rely on only one source. Every day you're taking in multiple sources of information, sometimes passively. So it's crucial we become intentional and conscious of this process so that we are more aware and more questioning when we are watching, listening, and reading information. So I've created a method, if you like, a process that you can run through every time you are consuming a new bit of information. Now, it's something to start with. I'm sure you can upgrade it. Let me know in the comments if you do. Before I do that, as an affiliate of Ground News, I want to introduce you to what Ground News are about. Staying up to date with events in the world can be difficult, and it's near impossible to consult a single source to get the full story. Narratives that shape public opinion often just reinforce media and corporate backed vested interests. And so we are finding that information can be released faster than it can be verified. And nowadays, reporting favors clickbait content over high quality journalism. Manipulative algorithms reinforce our own biases, and mainstream media overshadows independent reporting. And so it's hard to know which information to trust. So that's why I've been using Ground News. Ground News is an app and website that combines news from around the world and all in one place so that you can actually compare the coverage. Now, for every news source, you can see if they have a political bias, how reliable the reporting is, and who owns them. Ground News even have a blind spot feed, which highlights news that is being disproportionately covered by one side of the political spectrum. You can subscribe through my link to get 50% off any subscription. I use the Vantage plan to get unlimited access to every feature. So your subscription not only helps my channel, it also supports Ground News as they make the media landscape more transparent. Now, let's get back to this video. So this is like a bias rating that you can mentally give to any information that you are consuming. So it's going to be 0, 1, 2, 3. 3 is quite high on the bias rating. You're looking at an extreme view, like this person, this entity, this outlet is compromised. 2 is okay, it's to be expected in terms of being biased. 1 is someone who's trying to be fair and accurate and challenge their own assumptions. And 0 is 0 in terms of neutrality. Now, that's going to be pretty impossible to reach, even for an AI, but let's put 0 there anyway. And let me know if you have any bits of information available from any platform that has a 0 rating in your eyes. Now, here are some things that I would do if I wanted to carry out my own research and not just rely on one source of truth. Now, when doing research, it's quite important to find a verifiable, documented research source that isn't journalism. So ideally, you want an academic or a research institute, and then you want to ensure you know who owns them, who funds them. Next, you have ground news, a great source of information that captures news from around the world and will show you the political bias of each story. And then you're watching any video or listening to any audio from the usual suspects or from your own curated, favored channels. And then there's the X doom scroll. That's if it's still called X by the time you're listening to this. Now, question yourself. It's just a mental questioning, an intentional questioning. Each thing that you consumed, where is it? Give it a rating. In fact, give me a rating right now. Where am I? Am I extremely, like radically biased here? Or in terms of neutrality, am I closer to one? I think one would be fair. The idea is for you to be much more conscious when you are consuming media of any kind, to be intentional rather than passive. What happens is, as we consume information, we could just have it embedded there and then we just regurgitate it, or it basically forms an opinion for us. The idea is for us to question it before we form that opinion. This internal questioning is really the point of this video. I think what we're not having enough of is this internal curiosity or this desire to verify something and not to immediately fall for something as being the truth. Having this questioning mindset can ensure that we don't fall into any traps and we don't create any traps for us or anyone who is really relying on us to influence their thinking and even their decisions. This internal checklist is really there for you to become more aware, more alert. It's so you become better informed so that you have better decision making, so that you are better in your thinking and your conversations, and you'll be more balanced. That's what we can really strive for, especially at these times of rampant misinformation and disinformation. I really hope you found this video useful. If you have been a subscriber of my channel, you will know that ever since I started it, it's always been about media literacy, critical thinking, and for us to engage in conversation that is helpful and it's constructive. Over the months since starting this channel, I have had lives where we have looked at political issues or events and had a good old conversation in the commentary. As a content creator, I want to be responsible. So when I am conducting those spaces, I want to ensure that I'm not reinforcing any disinformation. The comments section has tons of it. What's to come next? There'll be more videos like this, more engagement, and I'm really looking forward to program content that's really going to offer a lot of value and utility to my audience for the rest of 2024. Thank you for listening. I'll see you in the next one.